Gaza was a hell, or even worse than the hell. The latrine was even more important for her compared to shelter, her dignity. The ceasefire has offered a glimmer of hope. Winter is here. And people of Gaza, they need a lot of things to go through this winter.
Just for surviving.
The ceasefire has offered a glimmer of hope for the people of Gaza. They had seen a lot during the past 2 years. Literally, the 80% of Gaza has been impacted by the unrelenting and very brutal conflict of past 2 years. So certainly this ceasefire gives them a hope. Sometimes these statistics does not tell the story of those people that are behind those statistics. So it is so important both for the humanitarians as well as for the media to try to break through those statistics and talk about the people, the lives that are being impacted by the conflict. For example, recently ICRC's Director of Operations, she visited Gaza and she met a mother who told her that she is so happy to finally have a latrine in the displaced camp. Why? Because according to her, the latrine was even more important for her compared to shelter, because latrine gave her back something that is so important for her, her dignity. Similarly, another father told her that the only thing he wishes, the only thing he wants is for her kids to go back to school. So that means that these feelings, like this ceasefire, had allowed people to start thinking about their future, about how to rebuild their life. 80%, as I mentioned, 80% of Gaza has been impacted by the hostilities during the past 2 years. So this means that practically all the infrastructure, the electricity, the healthcare, the water, the sanitation infrastructure has been badly damaged and it's not working. So that means that many areas are still without all those facilities. So, it's very important. Let me also talk about an important element that I think is so relevant in this situation, that how the ceasefire is also impacting many other areas. Another example that I would like to give is from the Red Cross Field Hospital. Just following the week after the ceasefire I think started on 10th of October. So just the week following the ceasefire, we had seen a massive decline in the weapon wounded patients. For example, we have only received less than 20 weapon wounded patients and none with explosive injuries, compared to just a week before where we had received 70 weapon wounded patients. Now what does that mean? This means that our teams can also focus on other patients, patients with chronic illnesses, patient who needs physical rehabilitation, patient, for example, the babies that were born, that our staff can also look after them, and they do not always have to rush to receive the weapon casualties in a very serious situation. 2 weeks back, we have organized a blood donation drive at the Red Cross Field Hospital in Rafah. And the turnout was so strong. Like, so many people turn out to donate their blood, and this shows that how much they care for the life-saving efforts. The first and foremost is winter is here. And people of Gaza, they need a lot of things to go through this winter. There is an extreme scarcity of warm clothes in Gaza, the mattresses, sleeping bags, blankets, everything. So this is the urgent need, that the people of Gaza need enough supplies, enough material to survive this winter. That's the immediate need.
Just for surviving.
Now that there is a pause, things have improved. compared to the past. So more aid is coming in, but of course not enough. So first and foremost, it is also important that the aid, unimpeded aid, is allowed. Sustained humanitarian supplies are allowed, so that people of Gaza can get water, food, shelter, medicine in a dignified manner. They should not go from place to place looking for these basic needs. In fact, the aid should arrive to them in a dignified manner. So in order to do that, it is the responsibility of the parties to ensure the unimpeded access of those supplies to those people. And in order for that to happen, the ceasefire must uphold. The parties must adhere to the ceasefire agreement. So it is so crucial. It was, in the words of the ICRC president, Gaza was a hell, or even worse than the hell, during the past 2 years. So that means that there should be enough, beyond physical health care, there should be a mental health care support system available. That means that we do and we must get the required experts, the psychosocial experts, the mental health experts, along with every other expertise that we need in Gaza. Doctors, nurses, water engineers, other experts, the forensics, the weapon contamination experts. There is a lot of unexploded weapons that is scattered across Gaza. The experience tells us that these unexploded weapons that remain after conflict, they keep killing people for so many long after the bullets stopped flying. So yeah, so I think all these are important, that the people, the support system is allowed to enter Gaza and support the people of Gaza. And for that, I repeat again that parties to the conflict should allow unimpeded, unrestricted and sustained humanitarian supplies to enter Gaza Strip. Looking at the future, I think diplomatic efforts must continue. All the international community who have already supported this ceasefire agreement, I think they should continue their efforts, working closely with parties to the conflict, so that the ceasefire is not only upheld but strengthened. Now, it is also worth mentioning that humanitarian action, of course, can bring immediate stability in terms of that, okay, people will not go hungry, or people have a place to sleep or a shelter to sleep under, or they have a water to drink, or they can go and have a basic health care. But it's not the long-term solution. The long-term peace, the long-term guarantee for the future of people of Gaza will only come from a political solution. And for this one, it is so important. Again, I repeat that a sustained and continued engagement of international community with the parties to the conflict continues. Of course, the ICRC will play its role to support those efforts as a neutral intermediary. As we had done, you might have seen that since the ceasefire agreement, ICRC had played its part as a neutral intermediary for the release and transfer of Israeli hostages back to Israel and Palestinian detainees back to Palestine, to Gaza and other areas. And that also includes deceased, both deceased hostages as well as deceased Palestinian. So this is a crucial work that we can play as a neutral intermediary. These are small steps, but very important towards the final solution for a peaceful solution, peaceful arrangement.